Hello, everyone. I'm Zhanae, the host and creator of this podcast, The Power is Mine. And welcome back to another episode, which is going to be called All or Nothing. So today, you guys, I wanted to speak on the kind of journey of having different interests or passions and them converging, or sometimes deciding what you should drop off your plate, what you should pick up, if you need to just take time to do nothing to see what kind of pops out and what feels right to you. And basically, I feel like I've had to do a lot of that lately because I firmly believe, I don't care what nobody says, I firmly believe that you can put more than you can handle on your plate in the terms of just like trying different things out, taking different paths, saying, what am I interested in? Being like, oh, I like that. Let me try that. Oh, that seems cool. Let me try that. Oh, that seems nice. Let me try that. Like very treating your life like a buffet and trying things out so that you can really honestly and fully know what you want and what you don't want for your life. And some things, I'm not even going to say it, because, whatever. But some things I do genuinely believe, if you know yourself well enough, you should not try. And I mean things in terms of like, will potentially have a long-term effect on you. I'm trying to say what I was saying it. Will potentially have a long-term effect on you, or could damage your health or like your mental in certain ways. But I feel like when it comes to other things, you can be open to trying stuff. Like, and yes, it can be expensive to test out so many different hobbies and take different classes or whatever, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Like, you can go and there's a bunch of free information online if you're ever really looking for it. I feel like the biggest part of a lot of different things is that people aren't really looking for the information, because the information is right there for you. You literally have the internet at your fingertips. You literally, whether people like it or not, people are going to use AI and ask AI, hey, what is this and what is that? You can go on YouTube University, and that's what I always call it, because literally you can learn whatever you want to learn on YouTube for free, or just keep going wherever you want to go. If you wanted to go to a library, if you wanted to go anywhere, if you wanted to go within an environment and ask questions of the people that are doing what you're interested in, you could learn that. But it's all about you wanting to do it. So I feel like with so many different things, I had always liked watching movies or reading books or seeing videos on YouTube or whatever of people doing stuff and be like, oh my God, that's so cool. I wish I could do that. If only I could try that out. And me being a dancer for the few years that I have has afforded me, thank God, the money to experiment and take a break from stuff or pick stuff up and have too much on my plate. Being able to say, oh, I'm going to pursue music. I'm going to pursue bodybuilding. I'm going to pursue lash tech. I'm going to pursue nail tech. I'm going to pursue makeup artists. And I've been able to do that in my youth and in my journey of being a dancer. But like I always say, everybody not gonna be a dancer. I'm never promoting to people, oh, go be a dancer and that's how you'll have the financial freedom to go do stuff. I would tell people, find ways to give yourself financial freedom. Yes, that would mean that sometimes you have to work a little bit harder than you want to work. Yes, that would mean that sometimes you have to be willing to take a chance on different job opportunities, or be willing to pick up a side hustle, or Google ways to make money. Look on YouTube for ways to make money. Be open to doing a DoorDash or Uber Eats. Be open to putting your clothes on a Poshmark. Be open to trying to do promo from your social media, trying to do UGC, like trying to pick up ads or whatever. Be open to, I don't know, like mowing lawns or selling snacks, starting a vending machine business. Like, I'm just such an avid supporter of getting a hustle and getting to the money and not letting there be any excuse for why you don't have money. Like, there is no one particular way of how to get money, and there is never a limit on ways of how to get money. So if you ever want to try different things out and you know that money is stopping you, I don't ever really feel like there's any reason to be stopped from getting money to figure out who you are and what you want to do. And if it's not necessarily about money, you could pick up books. Like, I always came up around people who would collect books like nobody business and read books. And I know everybody don't want to read books. So that's why I say you could watch videos, or you could do things that are like hands-on. Go find like a community center and find classes that they give in for cheap or, for free. There's always opportunities out there if you want them or if you're looking for them. And I've been able to try out so many different things over the years, thankfully, because I had the money to spend or to waste or whatever. And I don't even see it as wasting, because I feel like when you develop different skills from something that is so different from the next thing, and it just basically, you keep going through life and you're just gaining these different skills, it's able to be stacked up, and you're able to not be singular minded. Like, don't get me wrong, being an expert is a great thing. Being somebody that people can lock in with and know, hey, this person has extensive knowledge about, let's say, computers, for example. This person has extensive knowledge about computers. They're the best in their field. This is who you go to if you want to know about computers. That's amazing. But also, I think that it's been really beneficial to me to be able to say that I picked up skills from being somebody that worked in fast food. I picked up skills from being somebody that worked in clothing. I picked up skills from being somebody that was in retail selling pots and pans. Or I picked up skills from being able to be a hairstylist at one point, being a nail tech at one point, doing lashes, doing makeup, selling clothing, like pawning stuff off, or selling snacks. Like, I have done so many different things, and I joke about it because it always saddens me. Everybody's not going to be adventurous. Everybody's not going to want to try different things, and everybody's not going to be open to trying different things. Sometimes people genuinely are scared of the opportunities that are in front of them, or they're scared of what the potential of how bad a situation can go. And don't get me wrong, I've had some rough patches in my life, right? But I feel like because I was willing to experience rough patches, I've been able to have such joyous memories and look back on stuff that was crazy and laugh and be happy that I even tried and went for it, because all of the skills that I might have developed as a line cook could have helped me when I was selling pots and pans, or it could have helped me when I was being a hairstylist. Like, sometimes working in retail gives you the patience to be able to be a good salesperson in your own business. So I am always open to seeing different things from different perspectives. And I feel like gaining perspectives give you the space to be not only a little bit more humble in situations, but more appreciative of people in different circumstances, and not necessarily looking down on people. And it isn't until recent years that I've been a little bit more stern about saying who I will allow around me, or what I will allow around me, like behavior wise or whatever, because I've always been a person, I feel like I could be with people that are in the lowest of the low circumstances and the highest of the high circumstances, because I opened myself up to so many different surroundings and learning so much different stuff, and believing that nobody was beneath me, but also that nobody was above me, so that everyone is just people. And when you go into different environments and experience people for different things, you're like, oh, okay, I could learn from this, I could learn from that, I could learn from somebody young, I could learn from somebody old, I could learn from somebody that's poor, I could learn from somebody that's super rich, I could learn from somebody that's somewhere in the middle. But I'm happy with all of those experiences that I had, and I've tried different things out. And I feel like, I don't know if it's maybe because I'm like 26 now, or if it's because maybe I'm getting more serious about stuff and realizing how much I like stuff. And right now I'm referring to the contrast between my journey of wanting to be a bodybuilder and the journey of wanting to do music. And it's always been, from a wider scope, I always wanted to be an athlete, not per se a bodybuilder, but an athlete. And from a singular perspective, I always wanted to be a musician or an actress or, like in entertainment, whatever. So I've recently been honing in on a little bit more, and I don't know. I don't see it as a failure to say, hey, I want to try this, I want to try that. And then one day look up and say, you know what? Maybe I'm going to push that to a little bit later on. Or maybe I'm just going to say I don't want to do it no more at all. And I feel like I've hit that fork in the road. And I kind of spoke about this on my YouTube. I feel like I hit that fork in the road when it comes to my bodybuilding and music journey, because I realized how much I actually do like music. And I realized how much energy it will take for me to make music pop or make something of my music. Or I realized that the split focuses when it comes to, being an athlete and being a musician, it might not give me room to be successful in both of them at the same time, or I might not be able to invest as many resources into both of them at the same time and make them both pop because it's a split focus. But the perspective that I have from having been a dancer or athletic, I can translate it over into my work ethic in music. So that's why I say it's a beautiful thing to experience so many different perspectives and be able to let it make you, no matter what path you decide on, be the best at that path. And I know everybody doesn't necessarily have that luxury of being able to experiment earlier on in life or whatever. But honestly, I really do think, y'all, that if you give yourself a little bit room to learn different things, it just opens your mind up. If you give yourself a little bit room to travel and see different things, see people's perspectives and it not be closed-minded, it gives you the chance to be better at what you choose. And that's why I have been happy for so long. Maybe it was just like a young, naive experience too, but I don't know, who cares? To be able to put so much on my plate and then be able to say, you know what? Nope, we're going to visit, like a food analogy. We're going to kick off the potato. We're going to kick off the corn. We're going to kick off the asparagus. We're going to kick off the salmon. We're going to stick with the chicken, the rice, the spinach, like I think that that's a great thing to have said, I tried, opposed to I never did. And I'm happy with where my life has been going so far because I'm able to say with so many different things, I tried and I experienced and I loved it or I hated it or I just didn't care for it. It didn't make sense to me. It didn't really matter to me. It didn't sit with my spirit well, or it just didn't spark anything in me. But I'm glad that I tried it. And I'm glad that I'm able to speak from a position of saying, I tried and I just don't want to do it no more. And I feel like when it comes to athleticism, I always like sports or athleticism, but the way that it will translate into my career of music is being a performer. So I might not be able to be a bodybuilder and be a musician simultaneously, and that's okay. But because I'm able to say that I went down certain paths and tried or gave it a thought and figured it out, I'm happier that I've reached that understanding than having said, oh, I think that I would like that, but I just never pursued it and I was never able to say that. Because I think it's the same thing as kind of like when people date and they figure out what they really, really like, and then they're able to come to conclusions about who they actually want as a partner. Or when they do actually settle down, they really are able to settle down and say, yeah, I'm happy with this person and I'm happy here, or this is just what I want, because they tried so much different stuff. So I'm saying all that to say, be open to trying stuff, be open to learning, be a student of life, and don't be too scared to experience new things, and Don't be too scared to be bad at something. Like, I can honestly and openly say that I'm maybe not necessarily bad at a lot of stuff, but I'm not the best either. You know, like, and I'm okay with being great at some things and being bad at other things and being good or okay at other stuff, you know, but that's what I've really wanted for my life. And I've been building that path, and I encourage other people to try to build that path for themselves too. Like, be open to trying stuff and just saying, you know, I didn't like it. Be open. And where I come to the understanding of like saying all or nothing, I've always been a person that when I try something, I give it my all. I don't know if that's the ADHD brain, whatever. But when I try something, I give it my all. And when I'm off it, I'm off it. And I'm happy that I was able to say, hey, I was a hell of a line cook. Hey, I was a hell of a sales associate. Hey, I was a hell of a dancer. Hey, like, I like the idea of being able to do that, because I can say, hey, I did that and I might not go back to it, or hey, I did that and I'm going to save it for later. But when you are pursuing your dreams, be willing to like put the energy in and figure out what it is that you really want. And I feel like I've kind of hijacked my timelines in this position now, to where it's like I'm able to live from a space of doing what I actually want to do and being a little bit nervous about where it's going to go, but being excited that it could go really well. You know, like, sometimes people get caught up on the fear of what something could be in a bad sense, but you're not giving as much energy to how good it could get. And I think I'm really opening up my mind to how great things could be. And I'm really hoping for the best. And I just have a different perspective on stuff, that if you tried and you really gave it a good, solid try, then you didn't fail. And if you learned a lesson, you couldn't have failed because you learned a lesson. So give it your all, no matter what it is that you want to do. Like, go after your dreams, pursue things that make you happy, pick up hobbies, you know, like, figure out what it is that brings you joy and really give that to yourself, because you deserve it. So I'll talk to you guys next time. Love y'all.